Yes, folks, welcome back, my friends, to the show that never ends. Here we are, back in the studio, with a proper green screen this time, because Jake is off with the convids. Bless him, he's up there in Norfolk. Hopefully he's isolating and not giving everyone up Norfolk these bugs, because we don't bloody want them here. So get well soon, Jake. In the meantime, this is what is really behind me when we do this stuff here at the studio. It's all gizmo stuff afterwards. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I thought what I would do today on YouTube here, before I go off ranting and raving to the Ustream members, is just talk briefly about my speech, the eulogy. I don't know whether it's called a eulogy or a tribute that I did to Jethro. There's been a couple of clips about it, but we're gonna show you the whole thing in full here, the whole bit that I did, and tell you a couple of things about it. Well, I didn't think about it at all until the after breakfast in the morning down in Truro. As I told you, we came out of one real crappy hotel called Manning's and went to another one called something or other. Anyway, used to be a monkery or a nunnery or something like that. And so I had a bit of breakfast with Mike Osman, as I told you, the great owner of GB Radio, the Great British Radio. Check it out online. It's our sister radio station. Anyway, me and him sat down and he said, "What are you going to say then?" I don't quite know. So I grabbed the menu and I wrote it on the back of the menu paper thing, and then I actually got a bit of A4 and wrote some little bullet points on him. I wanted to take the piss out of Jethro a bit, and I wanted to try and get over that he was never really happy on stage. He wasn't relaxed. He didn't just go on stage and see where it went. He had things in his mind that he was going to talk about. And people have asked me, especially the members on Ustream, because we have after they watch the Ustream bit, you can leave a comment and I answer it, not like YouTube. People are asking me why he kept moving the microphone and why he kept walking up and down, and he kept moving that thing, and he'd go off and he'd sort of try and feed the joke too much. Well, I went round the corner and there's pouring with rain, and it's pouring with rain, and I'm round the corner and it's pouring with rain. It's because he didn't relax and he didn't quite, I don't think he ever quite enjoyed it, you know. He was a great carpenter, glazier, farmer, father, husband, partner, all those things. He was a proper countryman. Jenny Olsworth-Eager said that Jeff was is not really a showman, he was a countryman. And there's that old joke when I took Jethro to a club and they wouldn't let him in, and he said, "But I'm a country member," and the bloke said, "Yeah, I remember." But I was trying to get over in the eulogy that what a great man he was, because he did a job that he basically thought he was an imposter in. But he wasn't. He just couldn't grasp how funny he was. And great guy. Anyway, here's the eulogy. I decided I'd take the piss a little bit. And I wanted to end giving us all some hope, because a lot of us, do we believe in life after death, that we're all going to meet again? I don't know. I hope so, don't you? And it's all about hope. And you don't have to be religious to have hope. You don't have to have religion to realise there might be something else than this. So here's the eulogy in full. Thanks for watching here on YouTube. Please subscribe and have a look at Ustream. And before you go, here's the thing. When you're looking about me talking about Jethro leaving this world, this year is the 40th anniversary of the Falklands War, or conflict, whatever you want to call it. We lost 256 guys in the Falklands, and 3 Falkland Islanders lost their lives. It's the 40-year anniversary, and I believe it's very important for as many veterans as possible to go back and visit, should they wish to go back to the islands. And there's various ways they can do this. They can get a bit of a cash off if they're part of the South Atlantic Medal Association. They can stay in Liberty Lodge, the brilliant lodge that Smokey Cole's Falklands Veterans Foundation runs. But all these things cost money. The South Atlantic Medal Association, they've got so many guys and girls to look after. So what I want you to do now, I want you to go to the Ustream Veterans Fund. You can click on it on the link below this on Ustream, or you can text donate to 663 777. It's on that little crawler there. Give me as much money as you can and we'll get it to the veterans to get back there for the 40 years. 40 years, eh? Well, let's hope we all meet again soon and Jethro can entertain us in that big stage in the sky. Help me out. Help me, help them. So here's my tribute in full to Jethro.
In Norfolk, they got some deep dikes. Those words will be remembered forever as Jethro and I tried unsuccessfully to get through a sketch on the Generation Game. About 8 takes it took. I know when it's shown on YouTube or on the television, they only showed 5 of them, but I think there were some bad words said by Jethro and I. And I agree with John, his poor suffering manager, that what a pleasure it was to have known Jeff. It really was, and he's unique. And to hear some of the tributes saying that he was a good businessman and was very canny with money. They say, what's the difference between Jethro and a coconut? Well, I believe you can get a drink out of a coconut. I've known Jeff for 40 years. I met him down in the West Country when he was doing warm-ups for a show, I think, and then he had his own little bit in a show about pirates. I think it was called Treasure Hunt or something like that years ago, and I could see that he was just brilliant. I thought, I hope I've never got to follow him. And I introduced him to Des O'Connor all those years ago, and we became great friends and colleagues since then. And just because I introduced him to Des O'Connor, it was, no big deal. It's nothing to do with me how Jethro became one of the great entertainers of this country, because if I hadn't have introduced him, someone else would. He was that good. He was that different. And he became the biggest DVD seller. He became the richest, the most successful DVD artist of all time. Amazing. And he still cleaned his own windows. There's a story that he was on top of a ladder cleaning his windows once and he dropped 50p out of his pocket. And he jumped down the ladder to get it and the 50p hit him on the head. Jethro would have made a good chancellor. If you ever spoke politics to him, and this is not the place to talk politics, but I'll tell you a story of how Jethro thought of the economy. And he said, last year, Jim, I paid £600,000 in tax. And there's a bloke lives in Trebogle. He's got 3 wives, 42 children. They've had to bolt 2 council houses together. They're all on benefits. And his vote cancels mine. He had a point. He also said to one day about John Miles, his great friend and manager. Well, he said, I'm getting rid of my manager. Why is that? John's brilliant. Yeah, he's a lovely man. I love him. We'll be friends forever. But it's not as if he's got to phone up anybody and sell me now, is it? Everybody knows where I am. They all know Jethro. So what's the point of him? I said, well, he's your manager. Yeah, but I pay him 20%. I said, well, that's about the norm. Yeah, but you think about this, Jim. Every 5 years, I do a year for him. Seriously, all of us thought about sacking our managers because of that. I remember standing with Jethro in the wings at one of his shows down in Torquay. He was, of course, top of the bill, and his support act was Bernie Flint. Wonderful. And I stood with Jethro in the wings watching Bernie Flint, who was brilliant, and he was going down really well. And Jeff said, waste the bloody time in it. I said, what do you mean? I said, he's great. Oh, yeah, he is good. He said, but I put him on so I don't have to be here in the first half. And here I am in the first half watching him. I could go on and do that first half and keep that 200 quid. That's why he didn't have many support acts. But the other thing that John was absolutely right, he hated hotels, he hated staying away. When I had my theatre in Great Yarmouth, he'd drive up, do a gig, and drive back from Great Yarmouth, albeit in the back of Andy's Land Cruiser. Bless him. I said to him once, come on, Jethro, we're going up north. And we went to a gig in Oldham, and he didn't want to go. It was all up north, and it was all horrible. And he was right, because we both died a terrible death. He went on first and died, and I said, I'll see you when I come off. After 40 minutes, I came off as well, having got no laughs, and I called him up, and I said, where are you? He said, Bristol. He couldn't wait to get home. He couldn't wait to get home. He was, do you know what I was thinking, which makes the man even greater? I never was truly convinced that Jethro was that at home on stage. He knew it was his job, and there was no one better than him at all, but I've seen the nervousness of him. He got so nervous, and sometimes how he managed to get on that stage and conquer his fear just makes him all the greater in my heart. What he didn't like to do on tour with me was do 2 nights, because it meant he couldn't drive home, and we were in Worthing, which is a lovely place. I spent a fortnight there one Tuesday, and Jethro stayed over in the hotel, didn't like it, got the hump, didn't speak to me, and he told me that he is so bored when he got up at 6 o'clock in the morning, then he had breakfast, then he had another breakfast. He said, by 12 o'clock I'd had my hair cut twice. And what happened was, he's walking along just a road in Worthing, and there's a man building a porch. And like John said, with the slabs, Jethro stood there with his pipe watching this bloke sawing some wood, and Jethro said, that's not sawing so good, that, is it? Bloke went, do what, mate? He said, I'll sharpen that saw for you. And he sharpened this bloke's saw. And then he started sawing some wood. Within half an hour, Jethro had taken over this job, was bossing this man round, telling him what to do, how to alter this and that. 4 hours he was there, and the wife brought him out, the husband out, a cup of tea as Jethro was leaving. And she said, who was that bloke? He said, I've no idea at all. Later that night, that people in that house who built that porch came to see me in Worthing. And in the first half, out walked Jethro, and the bloke said, that's him. It's quite amazing. He was a great comic. He was a great comic. He never changed from being Jethro, and that's the great thing. Success never altered him at all, really, and he was really, really successful. You must be very, very proud of Jethro. We're all here in church to celebrate life and the hope that we'll all meet again somewhere. The hope that we will all meet. And it's just hope that we need to meet Jethro again. And a lot of people, maybe you are not religious, maybe you just push hope aside. They talk about life after death as something from a science fiction movie. But I hope. And I look at it this way, Jethro, my old boy. What a caterpillar calls death, a wise man calls a butterfly. So you go fly, Jeff. Thank you.